Are you looking to create a captivating story climax? Discover the essential tips and techniques in this guide to make your narrative unforgettable and how to create a story climax. In this article, we will explore the key elements to consider when creating a story climax and how mastering this art can enhance the overall impact of a narrative. It discusses techniques for building suspense and tension leading up to the climax, ensuring reader satisfaction, and striking the perfect balance between surprise and inevitability. The role of character development in creating a compelling climax is also examined, along with different approaches for various genres. The article highlights common mistakes to avoid, effective literary devices, and strategies for maintaining reader engagement throughout the climax. It also delves into the importance of pacing and provides inspiration from notable examples in literature and film. Also, it discusses leaving a lasting impression on readers through the ending of a story, and whether every plot thread or conflict needs resolution for a successful climax. The purpose of a story. Climax, creating tension and suspense. From a point of view of the reader, the story climax is the pivotal moment in a narrative where all the tension, conflict, and suspense reach their peak. It serves as the turning point that determines the outcome of the story and resolves the main conflict. The purpose of a story climax is to captivate readers or viewers by creating an intense and emotional experience. During the climax, readers or viewers are on the edge of their seats, eagerly anticipating how the conflict will be resolved. The heightened tension and suspense keep them engaged and invested in the outcome. A well-crafted climax not only provides a satisfying resolution, but also leaves a lasting impact on the audience. Why is it important? The climax brings closure to the main conflict, providing a sense of resolution for both characters and audience. It creates a memorable and impactful moment that lingers in the minds of readers or viewers long after they have finished reading or watching. A strong climax can elevate an average story into something extraordinary, leaving a lasting impression on its audience. How to create tension and suspense. Build up anticipation by gradually escalating conflicts throughout the story. Create obstacles and challenges for your protagonists that seem insurmountable. Use pacing techniques such as shorter sentences, faster dialogue, or quick scene transitions to increase tension during climactic scenes. Keep readers guessing by introducing unexpected twists or revelations just before or during the climax. How to create a story climax. Effective foreshadowing and hints. To make a story climax truly impactful, it is essential to lay the groundwork and build anticipation throughout the narrative. Foreshadowing and hints can be powerful tools for creating a sense of anticipation and preparing readers or viewers for the climax. By strategically placing clues and hints throughout the story, you can subtly guide your audience's expectations and create a sense of intrigue. Foreshadowing can be achieved through subtle dialogue, symbolic imagery, or recurring motifs that hint at future events. These hints should be carefully woven into the narrative to avoid being too obvious or heavy-handed. The benefits of effective foreshadowing. It creates a sense of cohesion and unity within the story by linking earlier events or elements to the climax. It engages readers or viewers by allowing them to participate in piecing together the puzzle and predicting what might happen next. It adds depth and complexity to characters and their motivations by revealing hidden desires or secrets gradually. Techniques for incorporating foreshadowing. Create subtle connections between seemingly unrelated events, objects, or characters. Use symbolism to hint at future developments. For example, a recurring image of a broken mirror could foreshadow a character's shattered identity. Employ dialogue that subtly alludes to upcoming conflicts or reveals important information indirectly. Building tension through foreshadowing. One effective technique for heightening stakes and increasing intensity leading to the climax is through the use of foreshadowing. By dropping subtle hints or clues throughout the story, the reader's anticipation and curiosity are piqued, creating a sense of tension and unease. Foreshadowing can be achieved through various means, such as symbolic objects, recurring motifs, or cryptic dialogue between characters. These elements serve to hint at future events or outcomes, making the reader eager to uncover the significance behind them. For instance, in a mystery novel, the author may introduce a mysterious character early on who seems unrelated to the main plotline. As the story progresses, this character's presence becomes more prominent, with small details and actions suggesting their involvement in a crucial twist or revelation during the climax. This gradual buildup of foreshadowing not only raises the stakes, but also intensifies the reader's investment in solving the mystery. Tension through foreshadowing examples. In J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series, subtle hints about Harry's connection to Voldemort are dropped from an early stage, creating an atmosphere of foreboding and setting up a high-stakes confrontation between them. In Fyodor Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, Raskolnikov's recurring dreams and his encounters with various characters serve as foreshadowing for his eventual confession and redemption. Raising emotional stakes through character development. Another way to heighten stakes and increase intensity leading to the climax is by developing complex and relatable characters that readers become emotionally invested in. By establishing strong emotional connections between readers and characters, their struggles and conflicts take on greater significance. This allows for a deeper exploration of their desires, fears, and motivations as they face increasingly challenging obstacles towards reaching their goals. Character development can be achieved through various techniques, such as providing backstory, exploring internal conflicts, and showcasing their growth or transformation throughout the story. By delving into the characters' emotional landscapes, readers become more engaged and empathetic towards their journey, leading to heightened stakes and increased intensity. Raising emotional stakes examples. In Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre, the gradual revelation of Jane's traumatic childhood experiences and her pursuit of independence creates an emotional connection with readers. As she faces numerous obstacles in her quest for love and self-fulfillment, the stakes rise dramatically. In J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings trilogy, Frodo Baggins' internal struggle against the corrupting influence of the One Ring showcases his vulnerability and determination. This intensifies the reader's investment in his mission to destroy it before it falls into evil hands. Escalating conflict through rising action. One crucial technique for heightening stakes and increasing intensity leading to the climax is through escalating conflict during the rising action phase of the narrative. As the story progresses, conflicts between characters or forces become more intense and complicated, pushing both protagonists and antagonists to their limits. This escalation can involve physical confrontations, verbal clashes, or even psychological warfare. By gradually raising the stakes through escalating conflict, tension mounts as readers anticipate a decisive climax where these conflicts will reach their breaking point. This technique keeps readers engaged and invested in how these conflicts will be resolved. Examples. In William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, the feud between the Montagues and Capulets escalates from minor skirmishes to fatal duels between key characters. This intensifies both romantic tensions and familial rivalries until it culminates in a tragic climax. In Suzanne Collins's The Hunger Games trilogy, each installment features progressively higher stakes games where Katniss Everdeen must navigate increasingly deadly challenges and political intrigue. The escalating conflict keeps readers on the edge of their seats, eagerly awaiting the ultimate resolution. Building tension and anticipation. One crucial aspect of making the climax satisfying and impactful for readers or viewers is building tension and anticipation throughout the story. This can be achieved by introducing conflicts, obstacles, or challenges that gradually escalate as the plot progresses. By steadily increasing the stakes and raising the intensity, the audience becomes more invested in the outcome. To build tension effectively, writers or filmmakers can employ various techniques. One approach is to use foreshadowing, hinting at future events or outcomes that create a sense of unease or curiosity. Another method is to incorporate time pressure, where characters must accomplish their goals within a specific deadline, heightening the urgency and suspense. Additionally, utilizing cliffhangers at strategic points before the climax can keep readers or viewers on edge and eager to find out what happens next. Developing complex characters. A compelling climax often relies on well-developed characters who undergo significant growth or transformation throughout the story. By investing time in crafting complex and relatable characters, writers or filmmakers can ensure that readers or viewers are emotionally invested in their journeys. Analyzing successful climaxes, examples from popular books or movies. First, The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. In the epic conclusion of J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings trilogy, The climax occurs during the Battle of Pelennor Fields. This pivotal moment showcases the combined efforts of various characters and factions in a final showdown against Sauron's forces. The climax is characterized by intense action, emotional stakes, and a sense of impending doom. As the battle reaches its peak, key characters like Aragorn, Frodo, and Sam face their own individual challenges that contribute to the overall tension and excitement. The Lord of the Rings key elements. High-stakes conflict. The fate of Middle-earth hangs in the balance as Sauron's forces threaten to conquer all. Multiple storylines converging. The climax brings together various plot threads and character arcs, creating a satisfying resolution for each. Sacrifice and heroism. Characters make difficult choices and display acts of bravery to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. First, Inception. Christopher Nolan's mind-bending thriller Inception provides another example of a successful climax that leaves audiences on the edge of their seats. The film follows Dom Cobb, a skilled thief who specializes in extracting valuable information from people's dreams. In the climax, Cobb and his team enter multiple layers of dreams within dreams to execute an intricate plan. This sequence is filled with suspenseful moments as they navigate through shifting realities while facing unexpected obstacles. Inception key elements. Multi-layered structure. The climax takes advantage of the film's unique concept by exploring different levels of subconsciousness simultaneously. Ticking clock scenario. Time becomes a critical factor as Cobb's team races against it to complete their mission before they become trapped in limbo. Emotional resolution. The climax not only wraps up the main heist plot, but also addresses Cobb's personal journey and his struggle to let go of his past. First, The Avengers. Marvel Studios' The Avengers brings together a group of iconic superheroes, making its climax an exhilarating showcase of teamwork and spectacle. As the villainous Loki threatens Earth with an alien invasion, the Avengers must set aside their differences and unite to save humanity. The climax features a massive battle in New York City, where each hero gets their moment to shine while working together to defeat the enemy. The Avengers' key elements. Ensemble cast dynamics. The climax explores the dynamics between different characters with contrasting personalities and abilities. Visual spectacle. The action-packed climax utilizes impressive special effects and choreography to create thrilling set pieces. Payoff for character arcs. Each Avenger confronts personal challenges during the climax, leading to growth and development. Overall, these examples demonstrate how successful climaxes in popular books or movies combine intense action, emotional stakes, and resolution of character arcs. They engage audiences through high-stakes conflicts, intricate storytelling techniques, and visually stunning sequences. The importance of character arcs. Character development plays a crucial role in crafting a compelling climax because it allows readers to become emotionally invested in the story. One way to achieve this is through well-executed character arcs. A character arc refers to the transformation or growth that a protagonist undergoes throughout the narrative. By establishing a clear and believable character arc, authors can create a sense of anticipation and tension leading up to the climax. Readers become curious about how the protagonist's personal journey will intersect with the main conflict, heightening their engagement with the story. Character arcs examples. In To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, Scout Finch starts as an innocent and naive child, but matures into a compassionate young woman who learns about racial injustice. In J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings, Frodo Baggins begins as an unassuming hobbit, but evolves into a resilient hero burdened with the task of destroying the One Ring. The power of internal conflict. In addition to character arcs, internal conflicts within protagonists contribute significantly to crafting a compelling climax. These internal struggles can be emotional, moral, or psychological dilemmas that characters must confront and resolve throughout the story. Internal conflicts create depth and complexity within characters, making them more relatable and engaging for readers. As the climax approaches, these unresolved inner conflicts often come to a head, adding layers of tension and suspense to the narrative. Internal conflict examples. In Fyodor Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment, Raskolnikov battles his conscience after committing murder, leading up to his climactic decision between redemption or further descent into darkness. In The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald, Jay Gatsby struggles with his unrequited love for Daisy Buchanan and his pursuit of the American dream, culminating in a tragic climax. The role of relationships and interactions. Character development is also enhanced through the relationships and interactions that protagonists have with other characters in the story. These relationships can be positive or negative, but they all contribute to shaping the protagonist's growth and influencing their actions during the climax. Well-developed relationships create opportunities for conflict, collaboration, and emotional resonance, all of which add depth to the climax. The dynamics between characters can intensify the stakes of the central conflict and provide readers with a more immersive experience. Relationships and interactions examples. In Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, Elizabeth Bennet's evolving relationship with Mr. Darcy affects her perception of him and ultimately leads to a climactic resolution. In J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series, Harry's friendships with Ron Weasley and Hermione Granger shape his journey as he faces numerous climactic battles against Lord Voldemort. Using time constraints. One effective way to create urgency during the climax of a story is by incorporating time constraints. This can be done by setting a deadline or establishing a sense of urgency through the passage of time. For instance, if the protagonist only has 24 hours to complete a mission or save someone's life, it adds an element of pressure and heightens the tension. The ticking clock creates a sense of urgency for both the characters and the readers, making them emotionally invested in the outcome. Time constraints example. In The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown, the protagonist Robert Langdon must solve a series of cryptic clues within a limited time frame to prevent an ancient secret from being revealed. As each hour passes, the stakes increase, intensifying the emotional investment for both Langdon and the readers. Building suspense through high-stakes consequences. Another way to enhance emotional investment during the climax is by emphasizing high-stakes consequences. By clearly establishing what is at risk if the protagonist fails or succeeds, readers become deeply engaged in their journey. These consequences can range from personal losses such as death or betrayal to larger-scale ramifications like saving humanity or preventing disaster. High-stakes consequences example. In J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, Harry's ultimate confrontation with Lord Voldemort not only determines his fate, but also affects the entire wizarding world. The potential consequences of failure include widespread destruction and oppression, which amplifies both Harry's and readers' emotional investment in his success. Crafting intense emotional moments. To further enhance emotional investment during the climax, it is crucial to create intense emotional moments that resonate with readers on a deep level. This can be achieved through powerful dialogue exchanges, revealing character motivations or vulnerabilities, or showcasing pivotal moments of self-realization or sacrifice. Emotional moments example. In Khaled Hosseini's The Kite Runner, the climax revolves around Amir's redemption and his decision to save Hassan's son, Sohrab, from a life of abuse. The emotional intensity of this moment is heightened through the raw and heartfelt dialogue between Amir and Sohrab, as well as the realization of Amir's past mistakes. This climactic scene evokes strong emotions in readers, making them emotionally invested in Amir's redemption and Sohrab's well-being. Overall, by incorporating time constraints, emphasizing high-stakes consequences, and crafting intense emotional moments during the climax of a story, authors can effectively create urgency and foster emotional investment among readers. Narrative techniques to increase engagement. These techniques keep readers on the edge of their seats, eagerly turning pages to discover how the protagonist will overcome challenges and achieve their goals. First, the three-act structure. The three-act structure is a common narrative structure used in storytelling. It divides a story into three main parts: the setup, confrontation, and resolution. In the setup, the audience is introduced to the characters, setting, and conflict. The confrontation builds up tension and presents obstacles for the main character to overcome. Finally, the resolution provides a satisfying conclusion to the story. This structure allows for a gradual buildup of tension leading to a powerful story climax. The three-act structure advantages: provides a clear framework for storytelling, allows for a logical progression of events, helps maintain audience engagement by building suspense. The three-act structure disadvantages: can be formulaic if not executed creatively. may limit flexibility in storytelling styles or genres that require unconventional structures. First, the hero's journey. The hero's journey is another narrative structure commonly used in storytelling. It follows a protagonist who embarks on an adventure, faces challenges, undergoes personal growth, and ultimately returns transformed. This structure typically consists of various stages such as the call to adventure, crossing the threshold into a new world, encountering allies and enemies, facing trials and temptations, reaching an abyss or crisis point, experiencing a resurrection or transformation, and finally returning home with newfound wisdom. The hero's journey advantages: provides a compelling arc for character development, offers opportunities for symbolism and metaphorical exploration, aligns with universal themes found in many myths and legends. The hero's journey disadvantages: can become predictable if not approached with originality, requires careful balancing of pacing to maintain audience interest throughout the journey. First, non-linear narrative structure. A non-linear narrative structure deviates from traditional linear storytelling by presenting events out of chronological order. This technique can create intrigue and suspense as the audience pieces together the story puzzle. Non-linear narratives often involve flashbacks, flash-forwards, or multiple perspectives. By strategically placing key moments before or after the climax, this structure can enhance the impact of the story climax by providing unexpected revelations or twists. Non-linear narrative structure advantages: allows for unique storytelling approaches, keeps the audience engaged through constant curiosity, provides opportunities for exploring different character perspectives. Non-linear narrative structure disadvantages: requires careful execution to avoid confusion or disorientation, may not be suitable for all types of stories or genres. Overall, choosing the right narrative structure is crucial in developing a powerful story climax. Each structure offers its own advantages and disadvantages, allowing writers to experiment with various techniques to captivate their audience and deliver a satisfying resolution. Creating suspense and tension. One effective way to strike the right balance with surprising twists in the climax is by creating suspense and tension throughout the story. This can be achieved through various techniques such as foreshadowing, misdirection, and pacing. Foreshadowing involves dropping subtle hints or clues earlier in the narrative that will later lead to an unexpected twist. By planting these seeds of anticipation, readers will be on edge, eagerly waiting for the twist to unfold. Misdirection is another powerful tool that can keep readers guessing and heighten the impact of a surprising climax. By diverting their attention towards red herrings or false leads, writers can build up suspense while concealing the true direction of the plot. This allows for a more shocking revelation when the unexpected twist finally occurs. Pacing is crucial in maintaining tension throughout the story and ensuring that readers remain engaged until the climax. By gradually increasing the pace as the story progresses, writers can create a sense of urgency and anticipation. This heightened momentum makes it easier to surprise readers with unexpected twists in the climax, as they are fully invested in the narrative and eager to see how it unfolds. Crafting complex characters. Another way to enhance surprising twists in the climax is by crafting complex characters who have hidden depths and motivations. When characters are multidimensional and their actions are not easily predictable, it becomes easier to introduce unexpected twists that challenge readers' assumptions. One approach is to create morally ambiguous characters who possess both positive and negative qualities. This adds complexity and unpredictability to their behavior, making it more difficult for readers to anticipate their actions or role in the climax. Additionally, giving characters conflicting desires or goals can lead to surprising choices or alliances that shape the twist. Furthermore, exploring characters' past experiences, traumas, or secrets can provide opportunities for surprising revelations in the climax. By gradually unveiling hidden aspects of a character's history, writers can introduce unexpected connections or motivations that add depth to the story and create shocking twists. Utilizing symbolism and metaphor. Surprising twists in the climax can also be enhanced through the use of symbolism and metaphor throughout the narrative. Symbolism involves imbuing objects, actions, or events with deeper meaning that may only become apparent during the climax. By carefully selecting symbols that foreshadow or represent important elements of the twist, Writers can create a sense of revelation and surprise when their true significance is unveiled. Metaphors can also be employed to subtly hint at or parallel the twist in unexpected ways. By associating certain concepts or themes with seemingly unrelated elements earlier in the story, writers can create a powerful impact when these metaphors are revealed to have deeper connections to the twist. Both symbolism and metaphor require careful planning and consideration throughout the story to ensure they seamlessly integrate with the plot. When executed effectively, they can add layers of meaning and complexity to the narrative while setting up surprising twists in the climax. Lack of conflict. One of the biggest pitfalls to avoid when developing a story climax is a lack of conflict. Without conflict, there is no tension or excitement for the readers. The climax is the point in the story where the main conflict reaches its peak and is resolved, so it is crucial to ensure that there is enough conflict leading up to this point. This can be achieved by introducing obstacles, challenges, or opposing forces that create tension and make the resolution of the conflict feel satisfying. Examples. In a mystery novel, the climax could involve the protagonist finally uncovering the identity of the killer after facing numerous red herrings and dead ends. In a romance novel, the climax could revolve around a major misunderstanding between the two main characters that threatens to tear them apart before they finally reconcile their differences. Predictable resolution. Another pitfall to avoid in developing a story climax is a predictable resolution. Readers want to be surprised, thrilled, or emotionally moved by how conflicts are resolved. If the resolution feels too obvious or expected, it can lead to disappointment and diminish the impact of the climax. To avoid this pitfall, consider incorporating unexpected twists or turns in how conflicts are resolved. This can keep readers engaged and guessing until the very end. Predictable resolution examples. In an adventure novel where the protagonist needs to retrieve a valuable artifact, instead of simply finding it without any challenges, introduce a rival character who also seeks it and creates additional obstacles. In a coming-of-age story where the main character must confront their fears, have them overcome their fear in an unconventional way that surprises both them and readers. Inadequate emotional payoff. A crucial element of a well-developed story climax is providing an emotional payoff for readers. After investing time and emotions into following characters' journeys and conflicts, readers expect a satisfying emotional resolution. Failing to deliver this can leave readers feeling unsatisfied or disconnected from the story. To avoid this pitfall, ensure that the climax provides an emotional release or fulfillment for both the characters and the readers. Inadequate emotional payoff examples. In a tragedy, the climax could involve a character's ultimate sacrifice that leads to a bittersweet resolution, but leaves readers with a profound sense of catharsis. In a feel-good novel where the main character overcomes personal struggles, the climax could showcase their triumph and growth, evoking feelings of joy and inspiration in readers. Remember that these are just some examples of pitfalls to avoid when developing a story climax. Engaging your readers. Each story is unique, so it's important to consider what will best serve your narrative and engage your readers throughout their journey. First, building tension through pacing and timing. One effective way to enhance the impact of the climax is by carefully managing the pacing and timing of events. By gradually increasing the tension throughout the story, the climax becomes more impactful and satisfying for the audience. This can be achieved through various techniques such as increasing the frequency and intensity of conflicts or obstacles leading up to the climax, creating a sense of urgency by setting time constraints or deadlines for the characters to overcome their challenges, using cliffhangers or suspenseful pauses before revealing crucial information or resolving key conflicts during the climax. Example: in a thriller novel, as the protagonist gets closer to uncovering a conspiracy, each chapter could introduce new obstacles that heighten the tension. The pacing could be quickened by having these hurdles become increasingly difficult to overcome, forcing the protagonist into riskier situations. Finally, just before reaching a critical piece of evidence in the climax, a sudden twist could leave readers hanging, eagerly anticipating what comes next. First, utilizing emotional beats for maximum impact. An essential aspect of enhancing impact in climactic moments is effectively utilizing emotional beats. These beats are specific moments within a scene where emotions are heightened and deeply felt by both characters and readers/viewers. By strategically placing emotional beats throughout the climax, you can intensify its overall impact. To achieve this, create relatable and well-developed characters with whom your audience can emotionally connect. Showcase internal struggles or dilemmas faced by these characters during pivotal moments in the climax. Employ descriptive language that evokes strong emotions in readers/viewers, such as fear, joy, anger, or sadness. Example: in a romantic film, during the climactic scene where the two main characters finally confess their love for each other, emotional beats can be strategically placed to heighten the impact. By showcasing the internal struggles and vulnerabilities of both characters through close-up shots and heartfelt dialogue, viewers can empathize with their emotions. The timing of these emotional beats should align with key moments in the climax, such as a dramatic pause before the final confession, creating an intense and memorable experience for the audience. Creating tension through setting. The setting of a story plays a crucial role in building tension and creating an intense story climax. Whether it's a dark and eerie forest, a claustrophobic underground bunker, or a bustling city on the brink of chaos, the right setting can amplify the emotions and actions of the characters. By carefully crafting the atmosphere through vivid descriptions and sensory details, writers can immerse readers in an environment that heightens their anticipation and unease. For example, in a horror story, a dilapidated haunted house with creaking floorboards and flickering lights can send shivers down the reader's spines, making them feel as if they are right there with the characters, experiencing every terrifying moment. Utilizing symbolism. In addition to creating tension, setting and atmosphere can also be used to convey deeper meanings through symbolism. Certain locations or elements within the setting can represent broader themes or ideas that add layers of complexity to the story climax. For instance, a stormy night with thunder and lightning could symbolize internal turmoil or conflict within the protagonist's mind. By using these symbolic elements within the setting, writers can enhance the impact of the climax by providing additional depth and resonance to the narrative. The power of atmosphere. Atmosphere is closely intertwined with setting but focuses more on evoking specific emotions and moods rather than physical surroundings. It sets the tone for how readers perceive and interpret events leading up to the climax. A tense atmosphere filled with suspense can keep readers on edge, constantly guessing what will happen next. On the other hand, an oppressive atmosphere of despair can intensify feelings of hopelessness during a climactic moment. By skillfully manipulating atmospheric elements such as lighting, soundscape, weather conditions, or even character interactions, writers have the power to create an immersive experience that captivates readers and enhances the intensity of the story climax. Building anticipation. One effective way to utilize atmosphere in an intense story climax is by building anticipation. By gradually increasing the tension throughout the narrative, writers can create a sense of foreboding that keeps readers hooked and eager to reach the climactic moment. This can be achieved through various techniques such as pacing, foreshadowing, or strategic use of silence. For example, a slow buildup of suspenseful music in a thriller novel can make readers hold their breaths in anticipation of what's about to happen. By carefully manipulating the atmosphere to heighten anticipation, writers can ensure that the story climax delivers maximum impact and leaves readers exhilarated. Overall, setting and atmosphere are powerful tools that writers can utilize to enhance the intensity of a story climax. Through careful attention to detail and skillful manipulation of these elements, authors can create an immersive experience for readers that keeps them engaged and emotionally invested until the very end. Resolving the main conflict. After the climax of a story, it is essential to tie up any loose ends and resolve the main conflict. This involves providing closure to the readers by answering any lingering questions or addressing unresolved issues. The resolution should feel satisfying and bring a sense of completion to the story. It is important to ensure that all major plot points are resolved in a logical and coherent manner. Example: in a mystery novel, after the climax where the detective finally uncovers the identity of the killer, it is crucial to explain how they arrived at that conclusion and present evidence that supports their deduction. This could involve revealing hidden motives, explaining alibis, or showcasing forensic evidence that ties everything together. By resolving the main conflict in a clear and convincing way, readers will feel satisfied with the outcome. List of loose ends, the whereabouts of a missing character, an unanswered question about a mysterious object, a subplot involving secondary characters that needs closure. List of resolved conflicts, the main antagonist's plan foiled, the protagonist's internal struggle overcome, relationships repaired or strengthened. Wrapping up character arcs. In addition to resolving the main conflict, it is crucial to wrap up character arcs after the climax of a story. Each character should undergo some form of growth or change throughout the narrative, and this transformation needs to be addressed before concluding the story fully. By providing closure for each character's journey, readers can witness their development and understand how their experiences have shaped them. Example: in a coming-of-age novel, after reaching an emotional climax where the protagonist learns valuable life lessons, it is important to showcase how they apply those lessons in their daily life or future aspirations. This could involve depicting their newfound confidence, improved relationships with others, or a change in their career path. By addressing the character arcs and showing the growth they have undergone, readers can feel a sense of fulfillment and see the impact of the story's events on the characters' lives. List of character arcs. 1. Protagonist's journey from insecurity to self-acceptance. 2. Secondary characters' development from selfishness to empathy. 3. Antagonist's transformation from villainy to redemption. Examples of how character arcs are wrapped up. Protagonist starts pursuing their dream career with newfound determination. Secondary character volunteers at a local charity organization, displaying their newfound empathy. Antagonist seeks forgiveness and actively works towards making amends for their past actions. Setting up future developments. While tying up loose ends and resolving conflicts is important, it is equally crucial to leave room for future developments in a story after the climax. By hinting at potential new challenges or opportunities, authors can create anticipation for potential sequels or spin-offs. This allows readers to imagine what might happen next and keeps them engaged even after finishing the current narrative. Example: in a fantasy series, after concluding an epic battle against an ancient evil, it is beneficial to introduce new mysterious characters or unexplored realms that could be further explored in future installments. This could involve hints about hidden artifacts yet to be discovered, prophecies that foretell upcoming conflicts, or unresolved tensions between certain factions. By setting up future developments, readers will be eager to continue following the story beyond its initial climax. Setting up future developments. Introducing a new enigmatic character who possesses unique powers. 2. Mentioning an uncharted land rumored to hold ancient secrets. 3. Foreshadowing a potential conflict between two powerful factions. Examples of hints towards future developments. The new character leaves behind cryptic clues, teasing their importance in upcoming events. A map with unexplored territories is discovered, sparking curiosity about what lies beyond. A heated conversation between representatives of different factions hints at an impending clash. By effectively tying up loose ends, wrapping up character arcs, and setting up future developments after the climax, authors can provide a satisfying conclusion while leaving room for readers' imaginations to wander and eagerly anticipate what may come next. Symbolism in the climax. Incorporating symbolism into the story's climax can add depth and meaning to the narrative. Symbolism allows for abstract ideas or concepts to be represented through tangible objects, actions, or events. By using symbolism in the climax, the writer can evoke emotions and create a deeper connection between the reader and the story. For example, imagine a climactic scene where two characters are engaged in a heated argument. Instead of simply describing their words and actions, the writer could introduce a symbolic element such as a broken mirror nearby. The shattered mirror could represent the fractured relationship between the characters or their distorted perceptions of each other. This symbolic element adds layers of meaning to the climax, enhancing its impact on readers. Examples of symbolic elements: a dying flower symbolizing lost hope or fading love, a storm brewing in the background representing an impending disaster, a locked door symbolizing barriers or secrets that need to be overcome. Using symbolism in the climax not only makes it more memorable, but also encourages readers to reflect on deeper themes and messages conveyed by the story. Metaphorical elements in the climax. Integrating metaphorical elements into a story's climax can provide vivid imagery and enhance its emotional impact. Metaphors compare two unrelated things, often using figurative language, to convey an idea or create a specific atmosphere. By employing metaphors in key moments of tension or resolution, writers can engage readers' senses and imagination more effectively. For instance, consider a climactic scene where a character is facing their fears head-on. Instead of straightforwardly describing their bravery, metaphoric language could be employed to heighten its impact. The character might be described as a lion roaring with courage, or a phoenix rising from ashes. These metaphors evoke powerful visuals and invoke emotions associated with strength and resilience. Examples of metaphorical language. Her heart was a fragile glass, shattered by his betrayal. The city streets were a labyrinth, trapping him in a web of deceit. Time became a merciless predator, chasing them relentlessly. By incorporating metaphors into the climax, writers can create a more immersive experience for readers, enabling them to visualize and connect with the story on a deeper level. Conclusion: how to create a story climax. In conclusion, mastering the art of crafting a compelling story climax is essential for creating unforgettable endings. By understanding the purpose of a climax and its role in creating tension and suspense, writers can captivate their audience and leave a lasting impact. Effective foreshadowing and hints throughout the narrative further enhance the anticipation, making the climax even more impactful. By following these techniques, writers can unleash the secrets to creating powerful and memorable endings in their stories.